Alrighty, so we're gonna be diving into my fun budget Bystial deck. You're definitely gonna be pleasantly surprised with this because it is a very unique build. That is it the most competitive? No, because again, I said budget, but it is fun to play. So starting off with the three Baldrake. I know in the next set it's actually getting a rarity bump, so that'll be cool to get just because, it is everyone's favorite one. Then we have three Druis Worm. Again, like I said, this is, a big focus on spamming them out, so I'm definitely maxing them all out, obviously except, Aliber, just because, not Aliber, the main one just because, like budget. So now we have Serenir. Boom, so another three. And this card, I feel like, well, technically the next two does not get enough love for Bystials. So, big focus is the fact that, Bystial Aliber is a tuner. So there's a lot of fun plays with that. And also, it does mention Fallen of Albaz in its, text. So that's going to play a part for the later cards. And then we are playing one of the Alba Loss just because this card is so strong, and I feel like no one actually plays it because they make the Bystial engine so small. So with a bigger engine, it actually gets use, and it's a really fun card to use, and it's just so strong besides having great effects above all. We are playing the one Guardian 100 Apples, the Ringworm. Because I did post one. Obviously, you could do more, but I still feel like, one is fine. And here is the piece de resistance, the Starlage Zephyr. So, obviously, if you're going to play Bystial, this is one of the most important cards, especially with everyone doing Dragon Link. So, even though I'm not doing Dragon Link, they're all dragons, and it's just so important, especially with, the Wyvern Burster and Collapse Serpent. These are also staples again. It is funny, though. I do have hollows of all these. It's just they're in other decks, and I was just too lazy to swap them out. But, maybe in a future video I would, just because, more shiny cards, the better. So this is where it gets more fun and interesting with my light tuner package. So this card is definitely great because there's definitely ways to special summon it, but also again with the bottom effect where it focuses on spellcaster with the same attack and defense, that dives into then right over here, Incredible Ecclesia, because you can use the effects to special summon, do that then effect, so they kind of do a recursion, but then this dives into the Chaos package I have. So, Chaos Witch, I don't know if you noticed, Spellcaster also, same attack and defense, which is amazing. Amazing card. I wish it was a dragon, but, because it says dragon, but still whatever, it's a worm, so can't use it, with Cypher, but it's still amazing card as its own, Chaos Mirage Dragon, because again, the whole point of this deck is to also spam out, the Bystial extra deck cards. So there we go. And let us dive into then the spells. We have a Dragon Shrine. We have two new Frontiers, just because a lot of the cards, like I said, involve Fallen of Albaz. So you're definitely gonna want to use this card because it allows more special summoning. There we go, moving that light. And then we also have one Change of Heart. I just feel like it's a great card for if you want to focus on the link aspect of this deck, even though it's smaller than the Synchro. But, it's still, I feel like, just a great card to have. Now diving into the traps, we have three Chaos Phantasm. Amazing card for, even more extending into more plays. And then the final two traps are Etude of the Branded. This is an amazing card. If I do, quote-unquote, have a side deck, I do have a third one on the side. But I did decide in the end to take it out just because having multiple continuous traps, I feel like is kind of bricky and unnecessary. So now let's dive into the extra deck. so there we go. Starting off in order of the synchros, I do have a Golden Cloud Beast. I do love his ability to, change levels, and also obviously the bounce effect. So this card definitely, if they make it a higher rarity, is going to be one that everyone's going to want. And now diving into the level 8s, Chaos Archfiend, I do have multiples again of him. He's amazing because I do have it where I do have Chaos Goddess. So you can't really summon this card in the deck other than his effect. But they have such great combination where if he goes down, she comes out, and she can literally bring him back. So they kind of have this amazing recursion. And then Warlord Savage. Again, I try to make the deck budget, but I still feel like this is, worth it and not too expensive because we do have some link cards again, and it's just such a great card. And then, clearly very budget, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. I feel like it's a very unexpected card that really does wonders for clearing out a lot of your opponent's side. This, again, I'm going to show you next, would be part of the Chaos package. I have Chaos King Archfiend on the side, not actually in the side deck, because I was debating on, do I want it in there? Because it's such a fun, interesting concept of a card. And then what I did have that I ultimately took out was Void Ogre Dragon. Void Ogre Dragon is amazing, and it's very easy, to use its effect by having no cards in your hand, because every card, in a sense, you can use them all the time. The only downside is, it requires the Dark Tuner. So even though we do have 3 of the Bystial Aliber, it's just such a pain when, to get it sometimes, because, sometimes you just feel like you're in a better play for level 10. So let's go into the level 10s. So we have Dissipator. Obviously, the hero of the deck, so amazing. The other hero, I would say, is, God, the sword, Chenging is just so good. It's actually funny though, first time when I had Chenging, for Sword Soul deck I honestly thought that it was only for Sword Soul cards. So once I saw it wasn't, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Obviously, I'm sure other people use it too for Bystial decks, but it's just so overpowered in this build I have, because there's so many ways to banish everything like every turn. So the attack boost he has is unbelievable, and also just to constantly have cards in the graveyard also to activate its effect is crazy. A very fun card that's unexpected that I'm about to show you is right over here. We have the Never Soul Dragon. Okay, so Dracocyte is amazing because besides super strong, I do feel like its effect does come up, and again also needs the Dark Tuner, but I honestly feel like between Void Ogre and him, even though they're very different, he just comes up more since we have more level 10. Alrighty, so I don't know if my battery died, but just in case, so I was choosing Dracocyte over Void Ogre just because, I feel like I go into rank 10s way more than the 8s, so I just thought it was more quintessential. And then we have one Star Eater just because, of the Golden Cloud Beast. Going into that, I feel like it's just such a great combination because Star Eater is a very unexpected boss monster that still to this day is just tremendous. Alright, so like I was saying, Star Eater I think is a really tremendous card. Because it's also very unexpected, because other than using Cloud Beast for it, I did also show before the Change of Hearts. So there are many different ways where it could come up, and it's just, I love when you have unique tech cards, and I feel like this really is one of those cards where it's like, what, it goes in perfectly for that random, your own kind of identity with a deck. So even though a lot of this, was, unique, but I still feel like there's different ways where you could add uniqueness. And then while we go into the links, I thought, I wanted to keep it as generic as possible as well, and not focus on the dragon side of it. because other cards, spellcasters, all that, better safe than sorry. So Nightmare Cerberus, Unicorn. They also are both dark, which is great as well. And their effects to dump into the graveyard to activate, I feel like is also a win-win. And then the rank 4 I have a Bomber Dragon. I just love Bomber Dragon. I obviously have like Boral Swords and other stuff like that, but the fact that you can just use 2+ is super easy versus relying on like, oh, do I want to use other cards? It's just, at least this way you can use just a Unicorn and just one other card. So you don't need to overly invest into it. And then I have one XYZ. I just thought this would be a fun one because for a, rank 6 is Archfiend's Ascent. Just because it is immune to so many things. So I could easily just use it with the Bystials, and I had other options, but I just really enjoy this card. If I ever wanted to, I could always take out random synchro, and then I could always add Zeus onto it, so that way he stays longer, and then boom, I could Zeus the field. And yeah, that's the deck profile. Hopefully you enjoyed. So stay happy, stay healthy.